All right. Hopefully, we have everybody who is going to join us online right now. I'm hoping this only takes 15, 20 minutes or so, but we want to give everybody an opportunity to see what OneDrive looks like and talk a little bit about our plan moving forward over the next 13 months or so. You'll notice an agenda for this meeting over on your screen, or you should be able to view that right now. The video will be recorded and posted on YouTube later, so that if you have interest in going back and checking on anything, you can absolutely do that at any time. If you do want to ask questions, we ask that you use the chat box, so I'm not going to unmute everybody's mic, but just use the chat box. I think it's important to remember that we have trained ETCs, we have trained STCs, and principals have seen this. So there are groups of people in your building who have seen this information, and so if you have specific questions, they might be a great resource for those very specific things. I think it's also important to keep in mind that this is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is something that we are planning quite a bit of time on. So at any time in the next year, if your building wants me to come out and do a session that answers specific questions for your building, or Anna Waite's another great resource. In fact, all of the documentation I'll be showing you later today came from Anna. So if at any point you want one of the two of us to come out to your buildings and do a specific piece, feel free at any time to do that. So let's just start right here with the question, what is OneDrive? OneDrive is a piece that comes with our new Office 365. So when we moved last fall to Office 365, we've primarily been using the email. And then in January, we rolled out the link portion, which is the video conferencing, which is what everybody right now is watching me on. And the next phase of this is going to be to roll out OneDrive. There are some advantages to OneDrive. First of all, the more stuff we get off of our servers here in district, the less money we're going to be spending on servers and backups and things like that. A statistic that I've been using, we had a analysis done on our backups this winter, and it looks like we have about 13.5 terabytes of data that we back up every night. And of that 13.5 terabytes, 12.8 terabytes have not been accessed in the last 12 months. So we have a lot of documents out there that have gotten to the point that we still keep them and we may need them in the future, but they're maybe not as needed on a daily basis as some other documents we use. So it's becoming a higher priority for us to find a way to get those backups to work for us and try to save a little bit of money on the server space and some of those types of things. But in addition to that, there are a lot of other things that come with this. Staff will get unlimited storage. So when you start moving stuff to OneDrive, you're not going to hit a point where you can't access documents in it, or you can't save documents anymore because you're out of space. Every user has unlimited space. Users have control of versioning. So if you accidentally delete an item, you're going to be able to go back and restore that item. You're not going to have to wait for the tech department to do the restore. You're going to be able to do that if it's on a Saturday afternoon and you're at home working. You'll be able to control that yourself. The other thing we like about it is this editing from anywhere. About 4 years ago or 5 years ago, we rolled out My Sites. And at the time, My Sites was a great way to allow you to edit documents from outside of the district. But My Sites has kind of passed its age of use. It's a little difficult to use, and now there are better tools, and Office 365 is one of those tools. Also, editing on any device. One of the things we love about this is I can now edit from my iPad once things are on OneDrive, which is going to be great, as we have about 1,000 iPads in the district. One of our goals is not only staff members moving to OneDrive, but especially at the secondary, getting students to save to OneDrive as well, because they each have, every secondary student has an account. And then the ability to share and collaborate. And we've done this in the district quite a bit with Google. We've had teachers sign up for Google and have created their own accounts and done that kind of stuff. We now have a way in district with district accounts to share this information off and to do some of that. So we're pretty excited about some of these advantages that we get to take advantage of now moving forward. So where does that leave us? Well, I'm going to do a little demonstration here of what OneDrive means. So everybody hopefully now should be seeing my OneDrive, and it's just a list of all my folders, and then if we move from here, you can also get a list of files. So here are all my files. For the sake of this presentation, I created a folder called a presentation here. And I'm going to re-log into my account. If you need to know where to go, it's the same location that we've done in the past. When we did this originally and everybody was accessing their email, everybody came into the portal here. And you'll remember up at the top left-hand corner, they call this the app launcher. So from the app launcher, you can just select OneDrive, and I'm going to go into my folder here, and you'll notice I've got a blank folder. So if I want to create a new document, I just say new. Now, one of the questions that has come up from ETCs is, can I continue to use Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel on my computer just like I've done in the past? And you can. There are going to be some manual ways to save that you have to do. What I'm showing you right now is what I have found easiest. I moved all my stuff over winter break, and I've been working exclusively from my OneDrive for the last few months. And what I find very easy is to just open up my OneDrive at the beginning of the day and to just work specifically from this location. So if I want a new document, I just click New and I decide Word, Excel, PowerPoint. OneNote is a notebook that allows you to keep different sections and different pages. And on an iPad now, the new version of OneNote actually allows you to notate right on there and save the notations. I know a number of people have used the Google surveys. Microsoft has their own set of surveys with this Excel survey tool. And then also you can create folders inside of folders, just like you have in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new Word document here. And you'll see what happens when I open this up. It actually opens in a web browser. I can open this in Word if I want the full functionality of Word by clicking this Open in Word right here. What I believe, or what I have seen, is almost 90% of what I do has worked just in the online version. I've had no need to actually go into Word. Some of the more advanced tables and those types of things, Word is very good to have. The program is very good to have, but almost everything I do on a daily basis works really well from in here. I just type, I do whatever I want, just like I would if I was in Word. I can bold, underline, so it works almost the exact same as if I was just in Word. One of the differences, though, is how you save. You'll notice down here in the bottom left-hand corner it says Saved. Office 365 or OneDrive, if you're using it, is saving automatically as you work. So there's no need to go file save and do any of that. But the confusing part for a number of users is, how do you rename a document? We've gotten very used to naming a document. When we go to save, we put a name on it. Well, to name one of these documents, you just come up here and just type in whatever you want it named. So once you're done with your document and you've got it named, and one of the recommendations Anna has been making as she's been doing these trainings is to do the naming first. And I think that makes sense so that it's completed. You've got that done and you're not closing out of there or getting interrupted in the middle. So once it's done, you just click your name and you'll go back to your OneDrive location. and you actually go back to the exact same location that you were using previously. So I now have this webinar test file created right here, and it's saved and everything's there. Once I do this, then I can share it, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this sharing, but I can actually invite people. I see that Bubba is online here, so I can just type in his name and I can say, okay, I want Bubba to have edit access, or I want him to have view access, and he will get an email and he'll have the link to that document so he can use it. One of the other great things is you can also create a link that can be sent to people outside of the district. So if you have parents you want to share a document with, or people across the state that you're on committees with or something like that, you can create a view-only link, or you can create an edit link. And then once you're done with those links, you can just disable them and they'll go away. So you create a link, you email it out, and people will have view and edit access. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of there. So that's kind of how OneDrive works in a nutshell. What we want to talk about now, and kind of the most important part of this meeting, is transferring files. We're asking everybody to transfer their My Documents desktop items, the things they have on our server that belong to them. One of the questions that's been coming up is, what about those shared folders that you have out on a server somewhere? Those we're not concerned about right now. We will be moving those eventually, but that'll probably be a year from now. We'll probably be doing a webinar talking about moving the documents that are saved in those shared locations onto what is actually called sites. It's a little bit different than OneDrive. OneDrive is more of a personal location. Sites are more for group work and accessing things that way. So once you're in a folder, and you can do this from documents, so I'm going to just go to the root of documents. If you go Library, Open with Explorer, what's going to occur is you're going to get an Explorer view of all of your files. Now, one thing I want to point out is this only works in Internet Explorer, and what we found is you need to be in Internet Explorer 10 or 11. For our secondaries, that's not going to be an issue. They got new computers last year, and I believe IE10 was put on all of them. For our elementaries, we've found that we're going to have to upgrade Internet Explorer. We did work with ETCs. ETCs have that information, and so they're going to work on getting that done. They're going to work on getting those updates done. So once you've got Internet Explorer and you've opened the files in a document itself, you're just going to drag from your My Documents, you're just going to drag items over. Now that seems pretty easy, but what we have found is one of the biggest problems we're having is this invalid characters. So anything on the list right here is an invalid character in Office 365. And if you move a document like that, it's going to error out. So what we have found to be easiest, and what I did, was I did about 3 or 4, maybe 5 folders at a time, and then I checked to see what errors I got, and then as I got those errors, I went and renamed the documents that gave me errors, and then did the sync again, or moved those files again and let those come over, and I didn't get any errors, and then I'd move on to the next 5. This is one of those things that you can start in the morning, maybe before you start class. You can minimize it. You can come back at a plan period. You can say, okay, I had these errors, let me correct them, and then you can do it again. The people that we have had sync or have had moved their stuff over have said that it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to get things completely moved. And that's going to change based on how many documents you have and how much information. But one of those users who gave me that number has been in the district for 10, 12 years and has had very good luck, or had very good luck in 3 or 4 hours getting everything moved over on a spring break day. So I think that's pretty much what you have to plan for. And then if you run into issues, we'll go from there. All of this information then is also saved on the district webpage. So if you go to the intranet and select technology, Anna Waite in this Microsoft Office, Anna Waite has created a flyout for Microsoft Office 365. And in there you'll see the link stuff, and then you'll also see all the stuff we're doing today with OneDrive. So you've got the handout for how to share files and folders, the handout for creating, and then the handout for moving existing documents. The goal is, and this is going to change probably a little bit building by building, is to have everything moved by the last day of school 2016. So we're giving everybody 13 months to hopefully move all documents over and get those saved, and then we will start removing servers the summer of 2016. I know I've talked to some buildings who are going to try to push that deadline a little bit earlier and shoot for January 1st, let's say. And that probably makes sense, because then if you're missing something, it gives you 3 or 4 or 5 months to figure out next year if you are missing anything. But we're not putting any other restrictions on that. We'd like everybody's my documents, everybody's personal stuff moved by the end of the year next year. So that's kind of where we stand with this. That's kind of our goal, and it's kind of the plan moving forward. I think the documents here, and I'll just open up one of the handouts that Anna created, because it walks you through everything we've just talked about. It walks you through it step by step, and I think it's very handy. But in addition, as I said earlier, I will be uploading this video to YouTube. So if there are things you want to go back and see, you absolutely can do that. And I think that hits everything I wanted to talk about. Are there any questions? And if you do have questions, feel free to type them in down here in the chat bar, and I will see what I can do to answer those. I know some people are showing this in larger rooms, and so if anybody in that room has a specific question that they'd like to get answered, we absolutely can do that. But if not, we do have 13 months, and over that time, I will be more than happy to come out, and I know Anna will be more than happy to come out, sit with staff, just help everybody in any way we can. All right, at this point, I'm not seeing any questions, and it doesn't look like anybody's typing. So I think we can close with that. And if you do have questions, remember the help desk is always here to help, and anything we can do to make this as easy and as painless as possible, we are more than happy to help. So thank you everybody for coming by, and just let us know.